Hi, I'm Dr. Russell Friedman, and I'd like to talk to you today about QSM3. So, the human body is subjected to a lot of trauma, and it knocks it off vertical. What happens then is the neurology of the body, the proprioceptor, the mechanoreceptors, the vestibular apparatus, all say, hey, I feel this, I sense it, and let's do something about it to create a better position that's less stressed. So what does it do? It actually takes the righting reflex and puts the head over the pelvis as best as it can. Unfortunately, multiple traumas create patterns that are out of alignment. However, the head is always the modulating factor. So how does it do that? The body moves things through the myofascial envelope, and it coordinates a three-dimensional posture by turning the head, by turning the shoulders, anything on top of the trauma. And we end up with what? We end up with curvatures of the spine, we end up with loss of tensegrity, we end up with compression of the body, and we see that in every single full spine view, no matter if somebody is 5 years old or they're 80 years old. They cannot support themselves against the effects of gravity. So in QSM3, we release that tension first before we correct the body. Other upper cervical procedures, corrective procedures, try to put the head up on center without restoring the body up into its open state before correcting it. So today I'm going to show you the lines of correction and how we actually access the resistant pathways that Dr. Gregory spoke about. So Martina's on the table here, and we have her in the up position of the headpiece, which means the headpiece is tilting like that, and it's actually creating tension. Watch, as I tilt the head up, I'm creating tension on the lower side. So I'm creating tension from here all the way around and down to the legs. And it's that tension line in the position 1, position 2, which is integration, and also, position 1 and position 4, that we actually release those tension lines. So since the tension line runs from here and all the way around, the way to tighten that, the way to activate the Golgi tendon organs, which is what we do so that we release the whole line, is by taking the Golgi tendon organ to its functional limit. And by presetting the body into a tension position, we actually preload that or preset it up. So every up position is going to have the head tilted up, just the same, and contrary to that, when we have a down position headpiece, which is position 2 and 3, we actually tilt the head down, which releases the up pathways. So right now we're going to release the low pathway, okay? And those tension lines are running this way. So we'll come in at angles of 45. The best mechanical advantage for this position, here's a curve on the body. This is the curve on the head. So just like a seesaw, when we're moving this way, the best mechanical advantage is below the center of gravity of the head. Where is the center of gravity of the head? At the lateral canthus and the EAM. So anything below that, so right at the C1 fossa is optimal. That is the most amount of what we call angular momentum. And that will increase the tension line all the way around and come up and release, 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 release. On a down position, we're going to do just the opposite. We're going to have the tension line that we're releasing this way, and we're going to be above the center of gravity, above on this seesaw, because our line of drive is going to be I to S. So all up head pieces, which is position 1 and 4, are going to have an S to I line of correction. So we'll come in, come on down, we'll come in at 45s, 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 all the way in, releasing all the tension lines. And you will adjust the head accordingly, all right, to create tension. This creates tension on the posterior pathways. This creates tension on the anterior pathways. Okay? So, let me show you a down position. Down position is going to be with a head tilt. As the head drops out, it creates tension on the upside. And the tension runs from here all the way down. And to release that, we're going to go for the best mechanical advantage of the skull, which is on the high side of the center of gravity, to create tension, tension. So we'll come in here, 45, 45, 45, 45, always 45s, 45s, 45s up. So they take into account the rotations, and they take into account the I to S. When we were S to I, we took into account the S to I and the rotation. So we're always doing 45s that actually allow the rotation pathway to release and the I to S and S to I Golgi tendon organ to release. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Russell Friedman.